mate, and welcome back to Friday Facts number 399, Trash to Treasure. And I brought my trashy friend, because my treasured friend was out and about. How you doing, Mojo?
You see what you did there, and I'm not a particularly big fan of it.
That's all right. It's all right.
Lightning storms.
I've got a cute little bin you can climb into and pop your head out of anytime you want. All right, lightning storms and Arendelle, Covrex, and V. So we've got like the elite team here to talk about our lightning storms. Yeah, it's gonna be different. So every night on Factorio brings an intense lightning storm. Lightning hits things at random based on material and height. If you're wandering around the middle of nowhere, expect to get zapped a few times. It can kill you and wreck your stuff, so look for shelter when it starts getting dark. Now, we spoke about last week where they had the overlay for not this planet, but the Vulcananus planet, where it was like a 1 minute 30 day-night cycle.
Yeah, day-night cycle.
So I'm really hoping this is a little bit longer on the day and a little bit shorter on the night. Because I don't want to run from lightning super often.
I mean, if it can be turned into a redeemable stream edition, you might be running from it fairly frequently.
This is true. There are all sorts of interesting things you can do in Factorio when you start adding integration via mods and Twitch integration. Yes. So we get lightning storms. Lightning storms are bad from the looks of it. I see a small issue with what was left of this lovely little outpost, which I didn't see craft a single thing. So it worked hard in its long lifespan.
It should also be noted that is the damage and frequency is boosted there, as it says on the little subtext.
Yeah, I ignore that subtext. This is normal gameplay right here. At least it probably will be when I'm streaming.
It obliterates an Roboport in one hit.
Well, I actually have no idea how many hit points a Roboport has.
I mean, they are pretty tough.
I don't know. You drive a tank into them, they tend to disappear. Tank does slow down a little bit, but not a lot. Robots.
Now you're making me second guess how many hit points it has.
I want to go with 400. I don't know. He's gonna go.
Well, at least a few of the things there are pretty tanky, and they're all getting one shot.
Roboport's the only one I'd rank as tanky. Everything else I've accidentally driven over in a tank multiple times. Anyway, enough of tanks. Okay, ruins provide initial safe areas. Not only are there some large structures more likely to get hit because they're big and metal, but there are some ancient lightning attractors dotted around that guarantee protection in a moderate radius. And then we have this nice little blue overlay where we can see where you're going to be safe. So we have a little alien lightning rod here, and one here, and one here, and one here, and some over there off the top corner, and there's a danger zone in the middle. Yeah, guarantee you every single time. Yeah, and a highway. I guarantee you every single time nighttime hits, I'm going to be standing in that danger zone. I guarantee it. So yes, some of your own structures, like rails, can handle being struck by lightning, but most structures will take a lot of damage if they get hit. So you need to throw down a few structures of your own. It's not a bad idea to do it near these ancient attractors, and make sure you have repair packs in the network. Oh, now I want to know what happens when a robot gets hit.
Also, don't accidentally run over your lightning attractors with a tank.
That too. So then we come into lightning collection, which we called last week. Soon after arriving on Fagola, you'll figure out how to make your own lightning rods. These protect a slightly smaller area than the alien attractors, but you can place them anywhere you want. Better yet, lightning rods can capture some of the energy from each strike and add it to your electrical network. You'll need a solid amount of accumulators to store all that energy, though. So plenty of accumulators are going to be required. There's something really satisfying about the sky trying to kill you, but then you turn around and exploit it. Lightning just went from a threat to a resource. Once you're producing the Planet Science Pack, you can unlock lightning collectors, an upgraded form of the simple lightning rod. These collectors protect a much larger area and convert more of each bolt's energy into usable electricity. It may not seem obvious, but the range is a double benefit. Not only can you protect a great area with fewer collectors, but that if they're at the edge of the plateau, they can reach lightning further away from the plateau, and grab lightning would be unreachable with a smaller collection area. This is especially significant for small plateaus, as you'll see below, which is the idea of this map. This map is going to be much more like islands, because
Yeah, this is a archipelago type map.
yeah, it's been a mod concept for a long time, and it's sometimes worked as a mod and as a one-off playthrough. Yep.
It can go very extremely one way or the other,
Yeah, well,
depending on availability of landfill.
yeah, that's true. I have seen. So I have seen, like Factorio in the default game has an island start, and you can choose to start on an island, but it's generally just a island. It's not multiple islands, archipelago style. But more importantly, you can walk through the water, because the water's not water. So there's the plateaus of Fagola like islands. They're surrounded by sinking oil sands that act like quicksand for structures. You can walk across them, but only things you can build on the sinking sands are elevated rail supports and offshore pumps. Lightning is collected based on bolts that would strike the area naturally, meaning that each island has a maximum energy collection rate with full coverage. Islands are usually separated by a gap that's larger than a basic quality big electric pole, so in most cases, each island will have its own electrical network. Island size matters. Yes. That's going to be interesting because you're going to have lots of isolated power networks. Also, I guarantee it, at some stage, you're going to be walking from island to island and then night's going to hit. Whilst you're waging through the oil. Yeah. That can't be bad at all. So the different types.
Sure, it'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. There are different types of islands. Largest island has expansive desert and more natural terrain. There's more space to build and more area to collect power, but no resources. Medium islands are usually cities and have a mix of space and resources, but the resources are not as rich. These islands are a good place to get started, though, as they have a good balance of space, resources, and ancient protection from lightning. So they're the trash cities that we saw in the last week's Friday Facts. And then we have the small islands have some special significance. They're always isolated by a moat. I said moat.
So they're surrounded by water, or in this case, oil.
But everything's isolated by a moat, technically.
Technically, yes. I mean, technically, the what was it? The big islands are more natural, but in the middle right, there's a big island with 3 ruins on it.
Yeah.
So it's all. And also cliffs. You can't escape the cliffs.
And the cliffs. And like some of these are definitely close enough you can get a big power pole between them.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm wondering, do we read more into the moat statement? Is there some part of untouchable, unreachable oil, something that we can't walk across to access the special island with the moat? Yes.
Possibly. I mean, from the small islands that I can more or less see all have the deep water around it, the darker shade.
What?
Generally, it's not exclusively.
Well, at this stage, you're going to have roboports, personal roboports at the very minimum. So there's nothing stopping you remote building, even if you can't get onto the island. Or possibly catching a train to the island and getting off on the train because it's going to run on elevated rails.
I mean, that won't be too difficult to get to.
Yeah. So, the resources on the small islands are much richer, but the lack of building space means they'll probably need off-site processing. The result is you're typically motivated to create a train network that spans over many islands using elevated rail, which is exactly what we have a demonstration of here. And there is definitely white resources. So I called it last week. The little white dots is definitely some sort of mineable resource.
Some sort of resource, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a research.
Yeah. You'll get that mojo. Oh! And this little island here has green thing on it. That's something. That's a little
Another
island.
Thing that
white
Reddit
thing.
has been very interested in.
That's a resource. Right there. There's also elevated rails going from a plateau to the oil because the fat section is the bridges going up and down, and also going from the oil section up and over. So we can build in the oil eventually.
Landfill.
Yep. So a screenshot of late game for Goro base. This is with the older map generation, but demonstrates connecting islands with trains well. Early on, the islands are oases for multi-level train crossings, but very late game, you can unlock the ability to landfill the oily ocean. As this late game, and also spot structures like rail ramps and electric poles placed in the middle of oil. Wonder if they actually you can put a lightning rod around them.
Yeah, you just
Yeah,
put lightning rod around them.
yeah. So then we come into first impressions, and this is by Kovrex. So things described so far work quite well, and we were not mechanically touched since the initial design. But the rest didn't have such a straightforward creation story. When I was doing the historical first playthrough of the planet's content in January 2022, so a while ago now,
Just a little while.
everything was different. I visited Fagola as the third planet. At that time, it was a pristine desert planet. The only thing special about it was the lightning, the islands, the new ore, and a few new recipes. Each island had only one resource, and water only existed in certain islands as water springs like oil, but all the resource mining, the processing, and the usual intermediates were all the same as they were on Narvis. And since this is the third planet already, I started to feel worn out from the repetition of doing the same old mines, smelting, circuit production, oil refinery, etc. This is when I started to feel skeptical about the whole expansion. Felt like a problem of a per planet reputation is not really solvable, and the whole idea of the expansion is fundamentally broken, not a good place to be. The problem of the repetition, was relevant to basically all the planets, so it felt hard to solve. Giving up was not an option. We had to try and improve things one step at a time and hope for the best. Since Vagola needed some revamp and I felt desperate, I was very open to wild changes. The first idea was nuclear option, and it sounds something like this. Remove the resources and just put some trash that some aliens have dumped on the planet. It could be directly transformed into any basic resources through assembly machines, so the game would be shortened and the repetitive parts removed. This would already be an improvement, but Angel took it a step further and made everything fit together nicely. This is an amazing opportunity to integrate the recycler into the game. Up until now, the point of the recycler was mostly just quality recycling resource sync tool. However, if the resource you're mining is made up of some high-level scrap, and the recycler just transforms it into all kinds of intermediate products in a fixed ratio, then the gameplay would become much more interesting. The challenge wouldn't be getting the resources, but dealing with the flow of the random mixed products, sorting them, handling the excess, etc. And this proved to be a viable idea, and step by step is led us to the current state of the planet. Now, Mojo, that whole statement.
Yes.
Can we break down a couple of things?
Yeah.
So, repetitive Factorio, doing Factorio on a different planets, different services would be boring, okay? Especially if it's, over and over and over.
I can confirm, playing space exploration, it does get really annoying and repetitive after a while.
Space exploration does have some variation in there.
There is some variation, but it's always load up the same crap to make a new outpost base on a new planet, and then place down all the stuff and rinse and repeat.
Okay.
For each resource that you want.
Yeah, this is true. There are slight you're mostly right. I'm trying to be generous, but there is I need a basic base that does the basic things, like get me the basic rocket parts so I can get my crap back off this planet.
Yes.
And then I need to deal with whatever's...
Basically need the base to make the base... I stopped doing that.
No. You need the thing to get me back into space with my new crap, and then you need whatever's required for the new crap.
Yes. In space. And it's dealing with getting that stuff in space to make the space stuff. And then there's also dealing with making a self-sufficient remote base that deals with itself and also deals with the particular resource you want. And it's more or less, at the end of the day, it's more or less just pacing down the same blueprint, or nearly the same blueprint with the core drills. This
is very, very true. My first playthrough of space exploration, I spent a lot of time making a core drill, which just mines all the resources possible, and it just junked everything it didn't need and made rocket parts. So it just made rockets and just dump it down on the planet and take a little while to build, but once it built, it just launched rockets, and that's all it did. Then everything else just got thrown out. And if I needed some of that stuff, I could take some of that stuff at whatever rate it came out, but it just basically built rockets. So very, very boring. But they've done a couple of big changes. One is, the nuclear option to just throw out everything and have everything come from recycling, which is new. I haven't seen that in a mod before, but having byproducts, we're going to call it byproducts. We're going to have the recycled stuff that comes out a byproduct, and having a byproduct from a mod that lets you deal with that byproduct to hopefully turn into useful items before finally voiding the last of it is something that's been in mods for a very, very long time.
Usually with varying degrees of success of implementation.
Yes, yes. So they've gone to they've borrowed from the community, I put it that way, and taken some core ideas that have been not in a mod, but in a number of mods over the years, and yeah, made sure that we could start doing some sort of recycling of, I won't call it junk because it's the only resource, well, one of the main resources on the planet, and then voiding what we don't need. And voiding, we originally found out with the lava planet, we could just throw things back into lava, you know, when we're done with it, just drop it back in, it's solved, problem solved.
On Vulcanus, yes.
Yes, yeah, I like that.
mean, to be fair, though, the generally recycling in when mods are implementing it is just going backwards from the thing that you made.
Uncrafting,
whereas, yeah, uncrafting. It's always some kind of uncrafting because for some reason that's a big deal for people.
Yeah.
Whereas this is, instead of saying you start with the basic components and go up, you're starting with the end result and working backwards.
Yeah.
Which is a completely new, I think, is a completely new idea.
It's something I haven't seen before. It's something where I haven't seen. It's funny because they're not really starting with the end resource. They're not starting at the end of the crafting queue because the item that you're getting is not something you craft. We'll cover that in like 2 seconds.
Yeah,
but
it's not like you're getting rocket silos and then you
uncrafting them or yeah. You're getting a new resource that gives you a fixed amount of this, and this that you need to deal with in some way, form, or
the
fashion.
concept is you're starting with something near the end point and then working backwards.
To then work back up to craft the thing that you want. Anyway, ruins and resources. So Factorio has certain themes around the engineer's impact in the world. There was something felt really out of character for the engineer to collect and effectively clean up trash from a planetary dump. The only sign of the aliens' planet was piles of trash. It isn't very interesting from lore or a visual perspective. It's much more fun if they have an actual presence there. So we're going to officially add technological aliens to the lore. We should do it right. And for Factorio, that means tearing through the archaeological site with a mining drill. So the planet is no longer a dump, it's a ruin. A bit a heavily polluted one. The inhabitants are gone, but their technology remains. You know how Mojo said something about robots?
Yes.
They said technological aliens.
Effectively, yes. Their technology remains.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Mojo's right and we need to fight robots on this planet.
I mean, they say technological aliens, but my interpretation of that is that it's some kind of alien civilization that had technology. That's my interpretation of that phrase.
Or they had technology, they've died out, but they left their technology, you know, like you'd leave a couple of construction bots on a planet occasionally if you flew off in a rocket.
Oh, the next paragraph is more alluding where it's the inhabitants are gone, but the technology remains. Technology includes the crap on the ground as well as potentially their robotic...
They're friends.
Robotic friends.
Yep. So the main resource in Factorio is scrap. It's not just trash, but a big polluted mix of ruined machinery, fallen architecture, ice, and rock. The scraps from an ancient civilization. The conceptual change also plays really nicely in getting high-tier items fed into the recycling machine. So we have a little bit of scrap mining with a substation, a couple of old-fashioned miners. Pretty sad to see these things still running. They should be replaced. Some accumulators, because it's going to be very important we get our power from lightning. I don't know who bothered with a lamp. Just up the gamma. Up the gamma. Or install a mod. Yes. Load it onto a train. Yep. So then recycling. Recycling is unlocked by mining scrap, which is critical to Fagola's industry. When you recycle...
Technology trigger?
What?
Technology trigger?
Yes, actually it will be. You have a point. So you'll have to mine it by hand, which will then trigger the unlock for the recycler. Technology. So you're not going to have recycling prior to this planet. When you recycle scrap, you get a few low-level products, like ice and stone, but you also get some high-level items like processor units. You don't get certain things like copper or iron directly. For those of you who need to recycle things like processor units and their recycled products repeatedly until you get the resources you need. So we have a little video here of, well, our scrap coming in and being fed through and spat back out. And can I loop the video, please? Loop. Cool. And going round circles. And the second row of recyclers, they're actually turning that into somewhat useful things. But I do want to mention that the third one from the bottom seems to eat stone, and the stone doesn't seem to output. Now, we had this conversation beforehand, and the recycler only spits out 25% of the goods.
Yes, it spits out 25% of what goes in at base rate.
Yes, but it also only processes manufactured items. So in theory, it can't take in iron ore, but I guess...
we did get the answer to that, is that it could take in anything that can't be recycled, but there's only a 25% chance it'll spit it back out again.
Okay.
So if you put an iron plate in, it'll come out as an iron plate 25% of the time.
Yes. That's your... Yeah, so it'll take it back down to the lowest produced item. But that's the thing, it's always a produced item. Stone's technically not a produced item, just like iron ore is not a produced item. So I don't know where stone falls into this. Like, in theory, it shouldn't be able to be recycled.
It is an interesting one.
I'm...
How do you... It's a logical paradox.
Yes.
How do you recycle stone at a philosophical level?
Sand.
Sand.
Yep. That's yep. Either you recycle enough stone, you get a mining drill out. Because that's how you get stone.
It sounds like wishful thinking.
Yep. So we have scrap. One piece of scrap has a 2% chance of blue circuits, 3% chance of red circuits, 1 of low density, 7 for solid fuel, 2 for steel plate, 6 for concrete, 2 for battery, 5 for ice, 5 for stone, 1 for some helium ore, 12% for gears, and 2% for copper cable. And I have a feeling that doesn't add up to 100%. Not even close.
Not even close, because it may add up to something less than, so any other time you don't get anything.
Well, again, does this go through the 25% reduction? So I have a 25% chance of getting anything out of this to start with?
Chance. So it's 25% times whatever this is.
Okay.
Like 30 or 40%.
40-something%, yeah.
40-something.
Quick math says it's 40-something. All right. Crafting for Gola feels fresh yet familiar. You don't need to learn new recipes or items. Essentially, the entire crafting tree is inverted. There's quite a few ways to handle the 12 byproduct recipes: inserter filters, splitter filters, sorting by robots, circuit networks, and it's a place where all the new train interrupts can be very handy. Having quick access to high-tier components means getting back into space after landing on Fagora can be much faster than on other planets. You might even enjoy bringing some of the expensive items back too. It's all up to you. Well, if you don't unlock the recycler, the recycler till this planet, and you want to start working on quality modules and quality upgrades, it sort of means you need to get to this planet, unlock this, and then make a detour home to then get quality up and running.
Here's the thing. Quality is its own separate mod.
It is.
If you don't have, I suspect that if you don't have quality loaded, this is the point where you get the recycler. Whereas if you do have quality enabled, you're going to see it much sooner.
I think you're going to have quality no matter what, but I don't think you're going to have the recycler no matter what to this planet. So,
well, as I say, quality is optional.
Yeah, I realize, but I think if you're doing Factorio, hang on, if you're doing Factorio with quality, just Factorio with quality, you're going to have the recycler and quality right from square one. It'll be somewhere in the research tree. If you're going to do...
somewhere further back.
Yeah, if you're going to do Factorio space with quality, then you're not going to unlock the recycler till this planet. You might have quality...
Assuming the technology tree overrides the mod's own unlocked rate. Unlock tree.
Yes, yeah, because that'll be one of the dependencies that they just put in. It happens all the time in mods. You might have quality already active, so you might already have quality modules. You might already start to build quality modules, but you won't be able to access the recycler to get rid of crap in an effort to try and put quality modules in it to get higher quality crap out of the recycler to start the loop of upgrading things. I think that's how it's going to work. Getting back to space. Yep. For gold fluids, as you may already know, the recycler can only output solids. So how we get fluids? The polluted sinking wasteland between islands is full of oil. You can put an offshore pump into the sinking sands, and you can pump out some usable heavy oil. Infinite heavy oil is slick because it basically reduces oil processing and a bit of cracking. This can be done with the usual recipes, but for that you're going to need some water. The planet has no surface water. It's far too cold and dry. The only source of water on the planet is the ice you'll get whilst mining scrap. The ice can be melted into water in a chemical plant easily enough, but to do that you need to decide where to use it. Needing ice for cracking and other water recipes is pretty cool because there's some scarcity to light oil and petroleum. Also means that in theory you should be able to barrel up oil on your space platform back in the home system and ship it to space and fly it across here and drop it off if you want to go for that route. Or save a whole lot of...
Or just barrel up the
ice.
the oil that's on the planet, ship it to the home base where there's plenty of water, crack it, then return it.
And return it. Yeah, that's another option. That is another option.
Also,
Yep.
also, we sort of glossed over it, but it is confirmed. Infinite heavy oil is slick.
Yes, it's slick. Shit. Okay, William.
Just in case you didn't catch it.
I moved on. Okay. Fagola's unique resources is helium. It's a rare element in the solar system, and Fagola is the only planet where it can be found. Unfortunately, the previous inhabitants also knew how precious it was, so there's no longer any accessible deposits. However, rare metals such as this just don't disappear after they've been mined. Helium oxides, ore, can be recovered from the debris and scattered remains of the long-forgotten civilization. The ore is processed into some helium intermediates such as electrolyte, superconductors, and supercapacitors. There are these new things are then turned into unique end products of this planet, which include the electromagnetic science pack, aka strawberry science.
Strawberry science.
Yeah. And then
Battery acid science.
And then we have, I gotta turn this back on. And then we have a brand new machine.
Say brand new.
Oh, it's brand new. I love it. So the electromagnetic plant, this machine makes a lot of different stuff, but it's specialized for manufacture of electronics and electromagnets. It's part of the planet's equivalent of Foundry, and like the Foundry, it is a game changer when you get it. And it's cool. I like it. I super like it. The animation. I really
want to see it with speed modules.
Oh yeah, I do. I want to see it go fast. I want to see it go super fast. I want to have it covered in beacons and full of speed modules, not just speed modules, like speed 3s, quality speed 3s, maximum speed on this thing. Maybe some
fast.
Bob's Mods speed modules thrown into the mix, just fast. I want to see. I want to know if I can spin it fast enough it breaks off the gears. But I gotta say, like, it's starting to make the other machines look old and dated. I feel like the assembler needs an upgrade again. Again.
The thing is, the original assembler update was only a subtle detail change that you mostly don't see when alt view's on.
Yeah, the gears on top of the machine turn.
Yeah.
And with alt mode on, you just don't see it. Yeah. So the electromagnetic plant is a 4x4 machine, which is different, which is going to be a pain in the butt for those people who like, everything lining up and everything else, because we're no longer 3x3, we're 4x4. But it has a crafting speed of 2 and a built-in productivity bonus of 5 and 5 module slots. It can craft wire.
50%.
What did I say?
You said 5 and 5.
Oh, did I? Well, there we go. I read the first number. It was the important one. It can craft wire, circuits, electric poles. I don't know why you need productivity on electric poles, but I guess I'll take it. Accumulators, which on this planet...
There's free poles.
I'm going to shut up. Lightning rods, supercapacitors, the new science pack, more electromagnetic plants, various Tesla items. I want some Tesla items now, and a few other things. Last but not least, modules. So this is going to be required to, well, not required. It's going to vastly increase getting modules up and running. But on top of that, we have this little example here, which is, what do we say? The right-hand one's doing, so we're outputting, we're outputting supercapacitors.
Yeah, so the output product looks like suspiciously like supercapacitors.
Because it requires batteries.
The left one is outputting some kind of red fluid.
Electrolyte.
Yep.
And the right one's doing...
Superconductor.
Superconductor. Blue wire.
If you pause on it, you'll see a blue wire.
It's a blue bit of wire. And Come on, video. I don't know. Oh. Video is so junk. There. There's a stack of blue wires. Cool, we got a stack of blue wires. But yes, so it's gonna be heavy oil in, and also the holmium as a fluid from the looks of it. With stone should give us electrolyte.
I think that's petroleum gas.
You reckon?
Unless it's just magma. It's just making magma.
No. It's not magma. Magma's a different planet.
No, this foundry thing, yeah.
I guess it could be petroleum. I don't know. I've got alt view on all the time.
It looks like petroleum.
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 Petroleum's got a little symbol on it. I guess it's purple. It's got a little symbol on it. I don't know. The pipes are always empty. The pipes are always empty. You know, we're using it all to make plastic and modules. So that'll give us electrolyte. Electrolyte added with a battery plus some plastics plus holmium will give you the supercapacitor, and then it looks like light oil in with copper and probably plastic, and holmium will give you the super.
Capacitor?
No, the supercapacitor is the bottom one. Superconductor. That's the one. Okay. So, yes. And more capacitors and more lightning rods and more. It's okay. The place is not on fire. It's lightning. The built-in productivity is really significant here because unlike productivity modules, built-in productivity is not restricted to intermediates only. As you know, productivity is the most amazing when it starts to multiply over multiple recipe steps. Tier 3 modules are crafted in multiple steps, so making all the steps in electromagnetic plants really compounds the bonus. It really does, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Productivity is one of those things that, yes, in Factorio it's limited to intermediates, whereas Dyson Sphere, on the other hand, there's no limit on it. And if you look at the cost to do something like super late game that has like 14 different steps to get there, and then you add productivity and it's only a 25% bonus total, whereas Factorio has 40% with maxed out modules, which is, you know, basically the rule of thumb. Factorio 40% is an awful lot over a few items. Dyson Sphere is 25% over everything. Something means the very first items you need like quarter the amount to start with, because it's just gone through so many steps. You've made so many savings that it really adds up. But it's also,
Yeah.
Yep. Anything else?
And also Factorio for smelting, it's only 20%. So smelting doesn't really you don't save a lot. You do the saving over no productivity on smelting is significant, but it's actually not that much.
It's one of the last things you put productivity in.
Yes.
But we do have the quality module 3, so we're going to unlock quality module 3s. When you combine tier 3...
When we unlock quality 3s.
Well, and the recycler. So I guess prior to this, we're going to have quality 2s. Probably
Point, yes.
fairly easy. Well, depends on your luck. Anyway, when you combine tier 3 quality modules with the 5 module slots in the electromagnetic plant, plus the built-in productivity and recyclers to count rejects, that suddenly becomes really convenient to mass-produce modules with quality. The craziness starts to get when making the highest quality tier 3 modules you can get. Quality modules, adding more quality to new quality modules. So round and round we go in a wonderful quality carousel that ends with some very powerful machines crammed with some very potent quality modules with the quality of the epic legendary quality.
It would be a quality factory.
Yep. From there on, you can make modules of other kinds, and over time you add all other things like assembly machines, chemical plants, platform components, equipment, Spidertron, because growth is the only activity the factory deserves, and now it means vertical growth too. But wait, there's more. Remember, the space platforms benefit from quality even more than ground bases. Space platforms are one of the main focal points for quality after power, armor, and the equipment grid. Quality means you can make platforms smaller, but still do as much or the same size whilst doing more and moving faster. This makes Vagola another great option for your first stop after Narvis. Which will you choose? Now, Mojo, which will you choose?
Yes.
Okay. Now, can I just back one step? Quality module 3s are going to require the super conductive wire, which is going to be a pain in the butt. So therefore you need to get here and therefore you need to get here to get those things up and running. And it probably means you're going to be making all your quality 3 modules here. But we've spoken about quality a little bit, and it's a giant sinkhole.
Yes.
If you attempt to recycle everything to upgrade it into a better quality, you're constantly burning resources.
You're burning a lot of resources.
Which if Factorio is automated, it doesn't really matter. Like, it's fine.
It doesn't really matter for the most part.
As long as you enjoy outposting.
just build more outposts.
Every, million iron ore that you grab, 75% of it's going to get thrown out if you run it through a recycler to get an iron plate that's of a higher quality. And then if you need a gear of a higher quality, well then 75% of everything you've got in for your iron plate is getting thrown out for higher quality gear. Potentially. Like, there is a chance you could roll one tier above, 2 tiers above, but there's a high chance that you're going to roll the same tier you've got until you start adding quality modules to everything. And a lot of it's going to end up in the trash bin and recycled around forever. So, personally...
Volcanist would be the better way to go.
You personally...
Back to the original question.
Well, I can see myself going here and getting the quality modules.
I mean, yeah, coming in and unlocking the quality modules, but you can't do much with them without everything else around it, or the support infrastructure. Whereas I'd just be going for the big miner and the foundry. That would be a significant upgrade to everything else.
Well, actually, now you speak about it, the foundry makes iron and copper from lava.
Yes.
Which means 0 outposting.
Yes.
So if you come here first and pick up quality modules and then go to Volcananus and just set up foundry, maketh me iron and copper, turn my iron into gears, turn my iron and copper into a green circuit, because that's going to be guaranteed needed for a quality module somewhere along the line. And if it's not a quality tier 1 module or tier 1 green circuit, put it back through a recycler and just rinse and repeat.
Put it in the lava.
No. Let's at least attempt to recycle it. Yeah, at least once. Yeah. I think because that one doesn't involve outposting, I think that would be my deciding factor. Also, Narvis needs to support you. That's going to be the other thing. Narvis needs to support you when you're landing on this planet, landing on the next planet, landing on the previous planet. No matter what, you're going to need belts and other things shipped across. All right?
Yes.
You might eventually have localized production, but you're going to need stuff shipped across.
Foundry makes belts, remember, too.
It does. Yeah, I think I'm going to stop here very quickly. Just a little pop in, grab a few bits of technology, few modules, bugger off, and then come back. And go to Volcananus and set up Volcananus. Yeah, all right. So that answers that question. And then conclusion. The planet is an excellent example of why development behind closed doors for some time was a good idea. We experiment and make decisions that would normally be viewed as extreme, like overhauling how an entire planet works. This allowed us to transform most of the repetitive planets in one of the most novel ones. Since we're doing similar kinds of drastic changes all over the place, the overall desperation described earlier is now long gone. I'm not saying that everyone will enjoy the expansion, but at least we do. It's quite an important requirement for a good game, isn't it? That the devs enjoy playing their own game? Not really, actually. A lot of devs hate playing their own game.
Yeah, who would have thought that playing your own game 1,000 million times kind of gets annoying?
Oh, worse than that, you're not playing the game, you're playing a section of a game, like normally a very small section. Like, doesn't inserter work correctly the time that I've tested 999th time with a new stack bulk inserter that's going to put things on the belt correctly and doesn't stop halfway through in this edge case or that edge case. Yeah, most devs hate their own game. It's called work. Yes. Look, this planet definitely sounds different and interesting, and I like the idea. I like the concept we've been given so far. I am still really curious what the white resource is.
Yeah, we haven't really been alluded to. Maybe it is the calcite again or something else new that we'll find out in a future one.
Well, the blue is the scrap, because we can see where the civilizations are. So the white is a something. And obviously it was important because it's surrounded by buildings here. So it's been tucked thoroughly.
So the second picture is an older iteration. And you actually notice in the first picture, the dotted white isn't there anymore. So that I wonder if the dotted white is now the big white dots. That would be my feeling.
All true. True. So rather than having the white resources being around somewhat, it now just doesn't exist. It only exists as a giant white clump
Yeah,
of
it's
something.
been concentrated into some kind of structure or something.
Well, we did have something on the top left of the rail picture, which was mining that white stuff. Because there's a lot of train stations.
I think that's been removed, whatever it is. I actually suspect that those train stops are just the holding stops for the
too many trains in the network
train system. Yeah,
maybe
somewhere for them to go.
Maybe. Explain to me what the hell is in the top right-hand corner then. The weird spider web of train tracks.
It's a spider web of train tracks that doesn't seem to go anywhere.
Yeah. Who was let loose in this multiplayer playthrough? Yeah. I'm interested. I'm curious what the other resource is. I think that's going to be important. We're going to have a little bit of... Where is that scrap recipe? Scrap recipe's down here. We only get 1%. We get a whole bunch of other crap, and we get 1%.
You don't get a lot.
And the problem is, if you need that 1%, that's the whole reason you've come to this planet. The other stuff's really helpful to get an infrastructure up and running. And as long as you're building new machines and doing things, that's going to be helpful and important. But once all that's up and running and you've left and you don't need to come back, you only need the holmium ore. At which point, everything else becomes rubbish. And assuming you can recycle it into...
Except for maybe the low density and the solid fuel going into making rocket parts to get back into space.
Sure. Yeah, okay, I could pay those two. And maybe the red and blue circuits to make more quality modules, because you might as well automate that here. But the rest of it becomes rubbish. And if you can recycle that, add for infraredum and just delete it, okay. But it's just annoying. It's really annoying. I'm willing to bet that those extra white patches are some sort of holmium ore deposit, or another rare resource that we haven't been told about yet.
Maybe one or the other.
Yeah.
I imagine.
Yeah. But I think with that done, I think that's it for Friday Facts number 399, which then, Mojo, brings me to the very important question I like asking at the end of every Friday Fact, and that is, what happens for Friday Facts number 400? Your prediction, sir?
Will we see 3 in a row? That's the real question.
3 planets? You reckon another planet?
The third one on the same planet.
Oh, more information about planet?
Don't
Mojo's aliens?
Volcanus.
Mojo's aliens?
Maybe the techno aliens is possible.
I'd
like to know about the... I mean, it talks about Tesla stuff. I'd like to know about Tesla-based spider defenses.
I'm assuming that receives the lightning, redirects it, and aims it somewhere. Yep, that's how I imagine Tesla-based defenses to work. Funnily enough, I don't see any defenses on this. Yep.
Last time when we were talking about Volcanus, we got the same thing again, and then we went on to something else completely different. It was a bunch of other changes and then more train stuff. So maybe the next one will... It seems most likely that the next one will be about another topic, so another game quality change, not necessarily new stuff. So maybe the... Do you know what? If I say it won't be new biters, then it'll be new biters. How about that?
Okay, that works for me. I want new biters. I want new enemies. I still want to find out what new toys get to play with us. Like, lightning is cool and all, but I want to see an army of robo-biters wandering across the oil, be standing there on my plateau beside my trusty flamethrower, because I have all the heavy oil in the world on this planet, and that shit burns, and watch them get hit by lightning on the way in. That's what I want.
Light the ocean on fire.
Yeah, that's interesting. We'll come back to that. Anyway, that's it. We're out. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed. And we will see you back here next week for Friday Facts number 400. 400, sir. Yes?
Oh, it's going to be some kind of milestone one, isn't it?
4 million copies. I call it right here, right now. All right, That's it. 4 million copies sold for Friday Facts number 400. All right, that's it. We're out. Thanks for watching. See you next one. Bye.
Bye.